371C is the relationship between the Union of India and the hills of Manipur.
Yeah.
Like Rahulji had said, union of states. I had said plurality. Now, the pluralism within the hills of Manipur, different ethnic communities are there, yet it is India understanding the uniqueness of Manipur too. That is the plurality of how the hills are actually, conceptualized. So this is why the Union of India enacted Article 371C and it became a law, 1972. 28 June 1972 was when the presidential proclamation came. The problem is when rules of law are not followed. Obviously, then there's bound to be trouble somewhere. And the other part of this is that it has been published in the rule book since 1972 in the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business of Manipur Legislative Assembly. Now, India functions under legislative supremacy. So now within this, since it's there in the rule book, and you are claiming before the entire nation, before a state that we are following this particular law or these laws that are there in the rule book, and you're not following it. So today what we are saying is that we want to follow. We want to use it because you're using it for the last 50 years. So when we say that we want to start using it for the welfare of the advancement of the people in the hills, see, there is no power on earth that can say no. One part. Second part, as a legislator, let us just to, give a short example, small example. Let us assume that I bring in a private member's bill.
Right.
Any private member's bill, before it is introduced in the House or discussed, nothing can be rejected.
Yeah.
You have to introduce it.
Yeah.
Now, with regard to the Hill Areas Committee, we have been, mandated and authorized by a presidential proclamation, which is the same as the Union of India or the Constitution, which has provided. Now, we are allowed, we are permitted to take resolutions, recommend to the state for any legislative action or executive action. What we have done this time is, this bill that we have formulated, we have sent it across the government of Manipur. It is their duty, their bounden duty to at least table it in the House, introduce it and discuss it. Now, no matter how wrong they think the bill is or how outreached we are with regard to this bill, they have no choice. The system is such that, like I said earlier, even when a private member's bill, any private member, you cannot reject it no matter what you put in that bill. Only after introduction can you reject it. Now, this is a Hill Areas Committee bill by 20 members of this state, which is 1/3. And you are just keeping it in cold storage. Now, it shows that rule of law is not followed in a state. Now, if rule of law is not followed in a state, how do you expect the state to actually, grow? Or how do you expect the state to function? You are actually saying that the state has failed. You don't follow rule of law in the House. There are times when the executive, they do what they want with governance. But the House, you cannot. So, when they are not tabling or introducing this bill, you are directly countering or challenging the Constitution of India. And a state assembly is not empowered to do that.
So how will the ADC bill